How we doing, folks? Moose here. And how about this? Thank you so much to the entire crew that's put together the College Football Revamped Mod. And I've had a lot of questions asking, are you getting revamped? You get revamped? We've got revamped. It is unbelievable. I'm so excited to put it to use. I got a nice little video here with just some, for those of you guys that haven't been able to get it yet, just to see some of the visuals and what you're looking at here. It's fantastic. They've updated all of the imagery. I mean, the biggest thing that everybody's excited about is, of course, the fact that they've updated jerseys or in the process of updating jerseys, but the skins of the game being updated is something that just takes it to a whole nother level. The fact that these images here are for my favorite team, of course, the Pitt Panthers. You can see all the Pitt players, head coach Pat Narduzzi, etc. on the screen. You can see they've updated some of the logos and things like that, and I know when you get into like Dynasty mode and stuff like that, there are new logos. They have the BCS logos taken out, and it's the college football playoff logos now. They've updated bowl games. They've brought in new teams. Of course, everybody's excited and has seen Coastal Carolina. They got the surf turf in there. We've got a roster update that lets us play with 2020 rosters. It's fantastic. I'm so excited to get to use it, and we'll show you some gameplay here in this particular video, but it's really cool. I mean, you just see how they've updated, and one of the biggest things that was just released, which is why I was so excited to finally get to put it into place, is not only have they updated the skins and the visuals and everything like that, but just the entire menus as a whole. They've updated all these logos. You can see they have an ESPN type feel to them, where they're like the metallic-y sheen type of thing that you're looking at. I kind of left a few in here just so you can see what they look like, but you can see they have that sheen to them. They've updated the fonts as well, so it's very similar to what you would get with the fonts in an ESPN broadcast now. A little bit bolder, a little bit thicker, a little bit less curvy and stuff like that, and I think it looks fantastic, and that's a big thing. It just adds a whole new sheen to the game. So if it's something you have not had the opportunity to do, and you can, I know there's some hardware restrictions depending on the not operating system, but the device that you're using, be it computer emulator versus PS3 versus Xbox 360. I know there's some limitations there that you may have to work through. So for those of you guys that can do it, I really, tell you it's fantastic. I've been playing it nonstop recently since I installed it the other day, and it's just fantastic. I've been jumping into some play nows and just seeing all the different uniforms that are available, seeing the look, and it's fantastic. It's so exciting. You can see even on the in-between game screens, they've added, rather than those old news and notes of new features in the game that we've seen for the last 7 years, they got new players, and I'm sure that'll be something that as seasons progress in college football, into next season, for example, they'll have new players brought in and things of that nature, guys that are big players that year as they bring out new updates of CFB Revamped. Because right now, you can see, look how beautiful those Pitt jerseys look. I know in my Pitt Dynasty, if you follow along with that link in the description, my Pitt Dynasty, I used Pitt as a team builder, and so I recreated the jerseys as best I could, but there's nothing like seeing these Pitt jerseys really on the field. Cathedral stripe on the helmet, on the pants, the numbers, the cathedral-inspired font on the jerseys. It just looks incredible. The ability to have Pitt gloves, the ability to have, blue socks and things of that nature. It just looks so good. And the other big thing, too, is these guys are incredible. They took the time, especially for teams that have had branding changes and things like that, like Pitt has. Pitt had a block logo and had navy blue and Vegas gold, essentially, as their colors. Now they went back to the royal blue and university gold that they're using, and these guys have taken the time to update all the colors and all the imagery around the stadium. If you look at the banners that are hanging around the outside of the stadium where the stands are, you can see they're the new Pitt logos, the new colors. They got the new Panther head. They've updated the padding on the posts, on the field goal posts. It's unbelievable. If you even take the time, for those of you guys that get into it, if you look at the scoreboard that you can see right now, they've changed the ads for more local-centered ads. You know, you got, of course, Heinz is already still there, but PNC, which is from Pittsburgh. You have UPMC, which is, of course, a huge sponsor, and University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So having that improved is such great immersion. I do see that on the flags there and stuff, they still have the old Pitt block letter, so I'm not sure if that's something that just didn't get updated, or maybe they can't update. I'm not sure if they're just automatically built onto the flag, so it'd be hard to update. But regardless, everything else has been given such a fresh coat of paint. You can even see the scoreboard graphic is fantastic looking. It's keeps the NCAA 14 feel that it had, but adds in sort of a ESPN 2020 broadcasting type of feel. And I know when you get into college football playoff, etc., they have those logos and things that just help to add that level of immersion, which is fantastic. And for those of you guys that follow along with my Dynasty, there are editors that you can use to edit your Dynasty file to put the college football playoff in. I know through the CFB Revamped team, they've spent time to work to try and make those editors work as well as possible to put the playoff in. I know if you go on operationsports.com, there's actually a tool that somebody had built. I haven't used it because I'm pretty comfortable with using the editor, but there's a tool somebody built that you can just put your file in, choose the teams, and it automatically modifies your file to build the playoff for you. So there's a lot of cool modifications that the community has done over the years to help keep NCAA 14 alive and kicking, and it's still my favorite football game. I bought Madden 21, and I do enjoy playing it because I like the new graphics. I like being able to play with the NFL teams because I want to provide a continuation of my NCAA football dynasty where we can see guys like Jay Keys and things like that play at the next level. So that's something that I will look to incorporate, hopefully, moving forward on the channel. But NCAA football just holds such a special place in my heart. I love college football. It's, such a great sport to watch. I'm a huge Pitt fan through and through. You guys know that from following along the channel, and it's just fantastic to see this. And look at some of these teams. Appalachian State is now in the game. Of course, I know everybody shows Coastal, so if you look at every single college football revamp video that's been put out, you usually see Coastal Carolina. So I wanted to focus on a couple of the other teams. They just did a uniform update for Texas State as well, and their jerseys are fantastic. I would love to do a Texas State dynasty potentially because that maroon and gold that they have, a couple of different jersey schemes that they have, pop. They look fantastic. Appalachian State, everybody knows how good that they look. Coastal looks great, and of course they have Georgia Southern in there as well. So some of the new teams they've brought in are absolutely fantastic and really just spice up the NCAA landscape that much more. So it's really, really fun, and you can see it's the same gameplay. The gameplay, I think, the animations, the way the players move around, even though you can tell the graphics are maybe just a smidge dated, the body likenesses of the players, meaning just the way that their physiques look on the field, I think just look fantastic. They look almost more realistic than Madden. I just feel like the proportions that they have are that little bit much more realistic. Obviously, there's a little bit of gear that you're missing, shooter sleeves and stuff like that would be great if it could be in the game, some of the new helmet options and stuff like that. But you do the best you can. You can use the editors and try and mix and match face masks and helmets to keep things looking fresh and looking more realistic. And it's still an unbelievable game. And just watching players move around, the running, everything like that just feels so much more realistic watching guys run. Their running form, I feel like, just looks better than Madden. I don't know what it is. That's not to bash on Madden. I know Madden is very controversial gameplay-wise, but I've enjoyed it, probably because I just don't play it as much, so I don't get to see a lot of the idiosyncrasies that people have a problem with. But it's fantastic. I should say NCAA is fantastic. Madden's good. I enjoy playing it, but NCAA is just incredible. And having this update just takes things to the next level. You got the new Sunbelt logos in there. It's really, really great. The field updates, they've updated basically every field in college football in terms of the actual grass and how it looks and things like that. So you have accurate team stadiums in that regard. It just adds that greater level of immersion that makes it just feel so much more exciting. And I've always enjoyed the college football game. So with that said, what does that mean for the plans of our Pitt Panthers dynasty on our channel? We're just finishing up year 6, of course. We still have the college football playoff selection show, which will be the next episode we put out. And then we will have our bowl game as well as the recap of the season. When we finish season 6, my plan for the dynasty is to bring it over from regular NCAA Football 14 to the college football revamped version of NCAA 14. Now, what that means, though, is my Pitt team, you'll remember, from NCAA 14 Dynasty, because of the fact that I had to create that Pitt team to get the retro Pitt jerseys in the game and to be able to continue to edit the jerseys and make them look the way I want them to look, my Pitt team is a team builder. What that means is if I bring that Dynasty straight over to college football revamped, I will still be using Team Builder Pitt with all of the other teams in the Dynasty. What that means is I don't have regular Pitt anymore. I'm on a Team Builder Pitt, and so some of the options there are just a little bit more limited. I wouldn't have the options for like the Pitt gloves or the colored socks and stuff like that, because Team Builder is restricted to like white and black socks, basic default gloves that are just your team color, things of that nature. So what that means is I am essentially going to have to recreate the Dynasty from scratch, okay? I'm going to do a couple edits to let the year accurately reflect the year we're at in Dynasty, so it should show 2022, which is the season we're going to be going into next, because we finished the 2021 season with Season 6 of our Dynasty. It's going to show 2022, and I'm going to take the time. It's going to be a little bit painstaking, so we'll have other content out on the channel in the meantime, because it may take me a few days to a week or whoever knows how much free time I have to work on the weekend. But what we're going to do is we are going to painstakingly bring over our entire Pitt team, and I'm going to try and incorporate and edit in as many of the key players that we've seen throughout the years in our NCAA 14 Dynasty into the file as well, which means the Pitt team is going to be C.J. Kirk at quarterback, Davion Reynolds at halfback. All of those guys edited into the file look exactly the same as they are, have the exact same rating. So our Pitt team is exactly as it should be going into Season 7. And what that means is we will still have a few more episodes of the Dynasty before we get to the college football revamped version, because we'll still have to go through the bowl game. We'll still have to go through the off season so we can finish up recruiting. We'll go through the player progression and everything of that nature. And you can see, I'll show some of the Dynasty updates here in the background, some of the cool images and things like that they've brought in. But we're going to still go through the off season so we can get all our recruits in. We can go through our off season progression, any transfers we can figure out, and basically we can get to the start of Season 7. But Season 7 will be starting on College Football Revamped. And my goal is I'm going to bring in all the ACC teams. So I'm going to edit in what Miami's roster looked like in our Dynasty, what North Carolina's roster looked like in our Dynasty, what Clemson's roster looked like in our Dynasty, all the starters and all the major contributors, of course. Guys down the roster, maybe we'll see. Across the NCAA, same thing. I'm not going to go through every single team, because some teams you wouldn't notice if I didn't change them anyways, just because of the fact that we don't play them. They're not major teams, things of that nature. The big teams, though, the teams that have done well, the teams that have players winning awards, things like that, we're going to edit in their quarterbacks. I think every team, I'm going to make sure their quarterback at least reflects what it is in the Dynasty, and we're going to edit as much as we can from there, and it's going to add a great pop. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the look at College Football Revamped. If you want it, go check out CFBRevamped.com. They have a Discord as well to tell you how to do everything. It's fantastic. I'm really excited to make this switch to CFB Revamped and put all the incredible work that they've done to use. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hail to Pitt. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.